and jackets left behind by visiting children. I had picked up a big cardboard carton at the grocery, and into it I put the baseball gloves and the football helmets and the riding boots and the tennis rackets and the basketball. I put the carton at the foot of the back stairs so I would remember to take it up the next time I went. And I put clean newspaper on the floor of the closet and went and got all the wet boots from the corner of the kitchen and the spot inside the front door and the back seat of the car. And I lined the boots up in the closet and derived an enormous satisfaction from closing the door tight for the first time in months. Later, when I went upstairs, I took the carton with me. There was no room for it in the bedroom shared by my 2 daughters. There was no room for it in the bedroom of my older son, and certainly no room for it in the tiny room where the baby lived. There was no room for it in the attic where we kept sleds and garden rakes. There was no room for it in the attic where we kept trunks and boxes of things I meant to give away someday. I knew there was no room for it in the garage because I had tried a day or so before to put the snow tires in there and had finally to put them in the cellar. Consequently, there was no room in the cellar because I had barely been able to squeeze in the snow tires. I was not going to leave a carton full of football helmets and a basketball in the bedroom which my husband and I shared, particularly since there were already 16 cartons of books in the corner next to my closet, and I could not leave it in the upstairs hall because there were 9 more cartons of books lined up along that wall. Anyway, I knew if I left a carton of baseball gloves and football helmets and a basketball right out in the front hall, it would only be a day or so before I had to gather them all up again from the living room and the kitchen, and I would probably have to put them all back into the hall closet, and then the door would not close again. With a certain feeling of bewilderment and a strong sense of the inevitability of fate, I took the carton back downstairs and put everything directly back into the hall closet. And of course, the door would not close. I could not find anywhere to put the empty carton, so I took it outside and left it for the garbage man. A day or so later, I decided to put away the winter clothes in mothballs. But the closet I have always used for winter storage was full of boxes holding the baby's clothes and gifts people had sent him, because there was no closet in the small room where we put the baby. It occurred to me that I could put the winter clothes away in a trunk in the far attic, but when I finally got the attic door open, I discovered that the trunk was full. My husband had cleaned his filing cabinet, and when there was no place to put the papers and correspondence and clippings, which were too important to be thrown away but not of any immediate usefulness, like our old college yearbook and the copy of our marriage license, he had carried them up in the laundry basket and put them all away in the trunk in the far attic. I thought that I might buy a cardboard closet to put the clothes away in, but there would be no place to put a new closet since both the attics were full, unless I put a closet in the baby's room and moved the baby's things out of the moth closet and then put the winter clothes in the old moth closet. But then there would be no place to put the baby, because there was only just room enough in his little room for his crib, and I had to take him in the girls' bedroom to dress him. We had 3 more attics, but one of them was full of old lumber and bricks left over from the various additions that had been built onto the house, and one of them was full of bats, and the last could only be reached by climbing through a trap door in the ceiling of the next-to-last attic, and even if I could get past the bats and through the lumber and bricks, I did not think I could keep taking the baby up and down through a trap door. That night at dinner, my husband remarked that he wished he could get to his place at the dining room table without having to squeeze so past the buffet. Either he was putting on weight, he pointed out, or I had moved the table. I said that now we had the baby's high chair in the dining room because there was no place to put it in the kitchen, I could not possibly have the dining room table any farther away from the buffet, because if there were any less space around the kitchen doorway, I would not be able to get in and out at all, and no one would get any dinner. My husband said, "Why not give all the children their dinners around the kitchen table?" thus making